As a business owner, it is your responsibility to your employees, to yourself, to your family, to your business to review all of your incomes and your expenses and see how you can maximize your income and reduce your expenses. The biggest expense for many businesses is their income tax expense. So people consider different ways to reduce this. I work with people in the US to lower their taxes, but if you're in another country, maybe you're paying a lot more taxes. And if you're on this video, you probably want to know how you can potentially leave your country and pay no taxes, because that's really big right now. If you're performing a service or doing some kind of e-commerce business, or really anything that you can perform from your computer remotely, you should consider what it would be like to live somewhere else and potentially pay no taxes. If you're in a 30, 40, 50% tax bracket, then you can double your income by living somewhere else, which is potentially cheaper and better for you. And I'm not going to go into great details about which countries are best to live in and all that. I'm going to go through the process of how to determine if this is for you and what you need to look into to make sure you do it the right way. Because I talk with clients every day who have left their countries, some the right way, some the wrong way. I talk with tax advisors from different countries, and I want to explain the concepts behind this. I want to go over some of my experience, explain how the taxes work in the US and in some other countries. I'm going to give you some examples. And then how this functionally works. And then at the end, I have 3 steps to doing this yourself. So first, this is how it works, generally speaking. In the US, they make you pay tax based on citizenship. So even if I leave the US, I'm still going to be responsible for reporting my income and paying tax in the US. There are ways to reduce it, and I've even been looking into moving to Portugal, and I've been really interested in moving to Panama and to different countries. I haven't hit number 2 and 3 of the list I'm going to share with you yet, so I haven't figured all that out yet, and I like living where I'm at right now. But maybe for some of you, you're in a position where you can live. I talked to someone yesterday. I talked to a lot of Canadians who have left and who have gone to maybe Mexico, or they've gone to Panama, or they've gone to Europe, or they go to wherever. They're going all over. But there's some really important considerations, because every other country, basically except for Liberia and the United States, tax you based on your residency. So if you're an Australian and you break residency from Australia, even though the laws are kind of changing and it's getting a little bit more difficult, you don't have to pay taxes there. If you're a German citizen, you can break residency from Germany and not pay taxes. But that leads me into number 1. My first step, which is reviewing your current tax laws. So you need to see in your home country what it takes to break tax residency. So I talked to a guy in Ireland yesterday, and he thought it was just about the days in the country. I love talking to tax advisors in other countries and figuring this out. In Canada, basically you have to cut ties with Canada, basically sell your assets, close your bank accounts, and just cut all financial and physical ties with Canada. And then basically physically leave. They're not too strict on starting a residency in another country, but some countries are. So for example, in Australia, it's very important for you to establish an actual residency, a tax residency in another country. Many people will go to Dubai, which has no personal income tax, and they'll establish a residency in Dubai, and they'll stay there for a little bit, and they're like, good, I'm set, and now I'm going to go travel around and go to other places. My guy, Nomad Capitalist, talks about his trifecta theory, where he basically stays 4 months a year in 3 different places. So that way he's never really becoming a tax resident in any of the places based on the rules of those countries. So there's a lot of ways to do it. There's different ways to do it, but the first one, you really need to see what you need to do to break residency from your current country. Then number 2 is really determining if living kind of the nomad style or living abroad is for you. You have to see if you're going to be traveling back to your home country to visit a lot of family very often, or if you want to be abroad, if your family wants to go with you, what you're going to do with school for your kids, how are you going to operate your business remotely. If your business does have in-person aspects to it, how are you going to deliver those aspects? I just talked to a client yesterday. I talked to a lot of clients yesterday. Thursday is my call day as I'm filming on Friday. And they have a manufacturing business in Canada, but they want to break residency in Canada. So we're going to structure that so they can still have the business and still work with them, but they're not directly owners. And, how do you do that? So there's a lot of planning involved with breaking the residency. First, how do you do it? And then the second is, how do you live and how do you operate your business and your life, both from a logistical and a tax perspective, once you break your residency. And step number 3, which is also super important, you need to plan where you're actually going to go and what the residency rules are in those countries. Countries like Mexico is very common because they have a system where you can get visas and you can actually get residency in Mexico. I get different answers when talking to Mexican tax advisors over who's supposed to be paying taxes, but they don't really enforce a tax on people who are moving to Mexico but not doing banking in Mexico. Mexico and many other countries in Latin America and Europe, for that instance, are going to mostly tax you on money you actually bring into the country, because that's what the government's going to know about. The main plan that I exercise with all of my clients, and the reason they work with me, is because part of number 2 and number 3, the quasi thing, is that how we do this for clients. So basically, clients need to determine how to break residency in their home country. They need to see where they're going to go, how they're going to operate, and a big part of that is how they're going to get paid. This is where, you see all my other videos. We open U.S. LLCs, U.S. structures for clients with U.S. bank accounts and payment processors. And if you don't do business in the U.S., you don't have employees here, and you don't actually, travel here and have a store here or anything, you don't have to pay taxes on your income generated from an LLC, from U.S. bank accounts and all that. So it's an amazing opportunity as a very practical tax haven situated in one of the biggest economies in the world, to keep operating your business. So what these Canadians do, they have a consulting practice. They'll move to Mexico. They'll open a U.S. structure, U.S. LLCs, maybe 2 companies for different things. And then they'll operate with those, and it's almost easier than being in Canada, and they're paying 0 taxes. And it's really great when you're paying 0 taxes. When you go from Canada, Ontario, to be paying 40%, 50%, to paying 0. So we're talking about an entrepreneur who's making 500, let's say a regular guy who makes $100,000 a year consulting. He's like, I'm going to move to Mexico. Not only is your money going to go much farther, you're going to be saving $30,000 to $40,000 a year. Like with compounding and everything, you're going to amass so much more wealth so much faster, and you're going to be spending less money. So for many people who can perform your services remotely, it makes sense to move somewhere where it's cheaper to live. Maybe you like the culture better, and you're going to be paying less taxes. And I hope from this video you're getting some ideas on how to do that. And I'm going to reiterate, as I kind of wrap the video up a little bit here, the steps, right? Number 1 is see if it's possible and see what you have to do. Talk to your local tax advisor and see, what do I have to do to break residency and stop paying taxes here? Number 2 is going to be have a plan for getting paid and operating and living life. Like logistics is a big topic, but putting that all into one bucket and figuring out operationally how you're going to operate abroad. And that's kind of with me. I help my clients with steps 1 and 2 because I'm so familiar with so many countries and how the laws work, that I kind of make it easier for my clients to get to step 2 and to step 3 with my different connections and experience. So step 2 is, being able to get paid, opening up your U.S. entity and opening up your bank accounts and all that. And for example, if you wanted to do the NHR, non-habitual residency in Portugal, you need to have the LLCs open in a particular way and ahead of time. And I have contacts out there. So I'm familiar with most of the major locations for international entrepreneurs. And then number 3 is actually confirming where you want to spend most of your time and getting visas in those places. And there's a lot of other great channels dedicated to getting passports, getting visas, getting all that. There's a ton of information out there about that. I don't talk too much about that because I am more focused on you getting paid, keeping your money, and keeping your money protected. Where you're legally allowed to be and stuff, I love talking about, but that's not really what I talk about on the channel. You can check out Nomad Capitalist. Expat Money is my close friend, Mikkel. I speak at his Expat Money Summit all the time. He has a great podcast. I'd check that out. And they talk about like how functionally to go abroad. Yeah, you should definitely check out Expat Money, the Expat Money show with Mikkel. He's awesome. I've been on that show before. Link it up there, guys. So check that out if you're interested in the logistics of going abroad. You know what, guys? It's your life, it's your money, it's your decision, it's your business. Do what you think is best for you. I've heard it said, go where you're treated best. If you're unhappy with your country and you're paying a ton of taxes, stop, solve it. Take responsibility for it and go and do it. I'm happy to help you in that journey. And I wish you all the best of luck. And thanks for being here and supporting me on the channel too. Happy to help you guys. If you want to talk about this, you can schedule a call with me or with my team. The link's below. And if you just want to keep watching videos, there's another video we're going to link above about something that's really relevant. You should definitely click it. Okay? So thanks for being here, and good luck.